Darin and Anita. A music evolution. Now, Darin and Anita with your Grand Strand Artist Spotlight.
Darin and Anita back from the break, and Anita, here you go. I've been talking about this for 2 weeks, and it's here finally.
I know, and you've been so nervous.
I have been nervous. You know, every time I get you and then we have another lady come on with us, it makes me nervous for some reason.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I think it's the ladies. And on the line with us is Shirley Jones from the Jones Girls. Shirley, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, Darin and Anita, and I hope you guys are as well.
We're doing great. Thank you.
Doing good. Well, Shirley, when we usually get new artists that we haven't talked to, I want to find out how it all got started. And to get you going on this, I found it amazing. We talked to a little off the air that your mom was one of the first gospel artists signed to RCA, and that's sort of what started everything for you and your sisters.
That's right. She was the first gospel artist that RCA signed the same day that they signed Little Richard to the rock side of the label. And this was before I was born, but once I was about 6 or 7, she discovered that I had a voice, and she and I started singing together, and Brenda came right along, and eventually it was Valerie, myself, Brenda, and my mom, and it was Mary Fraser Jones and the Jones Sisters. And we were very popular on the gospel circuit in the Detroit, Chicago, that Midwest area.
And that's just incredible in itself right there to get started like that. You hear of a lot of artists that Anita and I have talked to who get started in the church, and it sort of comes out into the streets a little bit, they say.
Yeah, in fact, the performances in the various churches, we became very popular, and a record label there, Holland Dozier Holland, one of their representatives, had heard about us, and at 12 years old, we were doing backup singing on such songs like Free to Pain, backing her up. And it was funny, I was telling some friends last night that a lot of the guys that were in groups then that we looked up to, you know, at 12, 13 years old, like General Johnson and Danny from chairman of the board, they would see us and they'd be like, what are y'all getting ready to do? Little, you know, we were little girls then. What are you all getting ready to do? And then the minute they heard us sing, they're like, oh my goodness, we've never heard harmonies like that.
Incredible.
So those were fun days, yes.
It is great harmonies there. And I tell you, you've worked with so many folks along the way, like Lou Rawls and Teddy Pendergrass, Aretha Franklin. I know you were on tour with Diana Ross.
Yes, we were Diana Ross's backup singers. And we also did backup on albums for Cher, Helen Reddy. And when Diana took us out, after the first night in London, which is where we went first with her, she told us then, you guys are too good to sing background behind me or anyone else for a long period of time. And so, you know, I do a lot of costume changes. Think of a song, and I'm going to let you guys sing a song, give you a 10-minute spot while I changed clothes. And she did that, and that's how we met Gamble and Huff. And Patti LaBelle, they were all in the audience in Philadelphia when we performed If I Ever Lose This Heaven, which was a big song by Quincy Jones at the time in the late 70s.
Right.
And they heard us and took us into the studio that Saturday and had attorneys, and we had to have our attorneys.
Your people met my people, and we got our peoples together.
Exactly. So I give all that credit to Diana Ross for the start of the Jones Girls. Yeah.
Incredible. And then here comes the songs. You know, You're Gonna Make Me Love Somebody Else. You know, your first big hit there. What was that like when you finally got your song?
You know, it was. We were shocked, and we were, because disco was very, very big then. Mm-hmm. And we really didn't think that You're Gonna Make Me Love Somebody Else had that real groove, you know, for dancing.
Right.
So we were really surprised when we were asked to perform in a lot of disco clubs that were big there in New York and back east then. We were shocked that the people absolutely just loved that song, and it was the first gold record that we had.
That was an incredible feeling, I know.
Yes, it was, especially to be so young and our first time out, yes.
And then after that, I believe this is right, just sort of going through your discography somewhat, is I Just Love the Man.
Yes, that was the second single off of that very first album. And the original song had no talking in it, but he just happened to hear us talking about, relationships at that time over the mic during one of the tapes. And he said, I think we should put that in there, what you all are talking about. And so we stopped for a couple of hours and actually kind of wrote what we were saying. And that is what was so unique about that song, was the talking at the very beginning of my sister telling me off about the boyfriend that I had at the time.
Anita has a lot of those stories too. I hear them all the time.
What?
It's a female thing.
See, that's what I'm talking about when you get the two ladies together in the show here. Well, there's another song, Nights Over Egypt, and that's what I've read on several websites has become somewhat a cult classic on both the UK and the US, around the world kind of thing.
Yes, and everywhere I go, there are three songs that actually four, that I absolutely have to do no matter what, and that You're Gonna Make Me Love Somebody Else, Nights Over Egypt, Who Can I Run To, and I Just Love the Man. Nights Over Egypt was very unique in that it was no lead singer. It was just all harmonies and unison. But the way it was put together and the intricacy of the harmonies, because it's a very difficult song for musicians to play, and it's other female artists have said it's a very difficult song to harmonize to, and they have no idea how we were able to do that. And so I give all credit to my sister Valerie, who's now deceased,
right.
But she had what's called perfect pitch.
Wow.
And she was the one that helped us to do those harmonies the way that they wanted us to do them, Dexter Wanzel and Cynthia Biggs, who were the writers and producers of that song.
Well, I know, and then the life happened somewhat. And I know Brenda, from what I've read, your sister got married. Valerie, at that time, had went off to college, and you got sort of called in to do a solo kind of thing.
I did. Kenny Gamble, he asked me what I was doing, and I was still in L.A. wanting to, get back out there. And he just called me one night and said, well, would you be interested in trying a solo project since, you're lead singer anyway? And I said, I would absolutely love it. Went back to Philadelphia for 2.5 months and recorded the Always in the Mood album. And the first single out, Do You Get Enough Love, was a number one record for me for 3 long weeks in August of 1986. And that was absolutely amazing, because even You're Gonna Make Me Love Somebody Else and I Just Love the Man, as big as they were for the Jones Girls, they never hit that number one spot, because either the Jacksons or Anita Baker or somebody had the number one spot and was holding on to it. They were number 2, but I actually went to number 1 as a soloist and held it for 3 weeks, so I was extremely happy about that.
Incredible. And that brought you into the 80s. And then we have the 90s, and you touched on this just a few minutes ago, of the song Who Can I Run To? And then in 95, Escape covered that song.
They did, and it gave a boost to the Jones Girls again, and we actually went over to Europe, London, and recorded a London album as a group, and then I recorded a solo album over there that was released just in London, and it has since been re-released over there again, the Coming Back Jones Girls album. So yeah, it was a big boost, and then we started working again too from 96, 97 up until 2000.
That's when I got into radio. I should remember all that back on that. Well, let's bring it to today now. Here we are in 2016, and the new release of My Time to Shine. And Anita and I have been talking about this song since we got it from Mike Alston and playing it. And Anita actually uses it for her on the air every once in a while because, I talk so much. She always says, it is my time to shine, Darin. You've got to be quiet.
Yeah, it's experience happened. I took some time off. I had with my son in 1988, and he's now 6'6", 6'7", and he was in 2007. He was on his way to college on a basketball scholarship, actually, and I was headed to California to get back into my career.
Right.
And a week before my son graduated, the Jones Girls personal assistant, who was also my best girlfriend, had gone in for a lap band surgery on a Tuesday. Her 2 adopted children found her dead on the bathroom floor on that Friday.
Oh, wow.
And they were my godchildren. They were 11 and 14 at the time. So I always say, I had my plans to head to California, but God had other plans for me. So I became mommy again to these 2 children because I refused to let the state of Georgia take them. And they are now 20 and 23. David is graduating in December with a bachelor's in psychology.
Wow.
And Victoria just thinking about going into the Peace Corps.
Wow.
So I'm very proud of those 2. Once I got them situated, I said, hey, you know what? My job is done here. It's my time to shine and get back out there. But even though I have been singing around, the States, and I go to Europe at least 3 times a year.
Right.
So I've been blessed to be able to do it, but now I can put both feet into it and not have to worry about children. So I'm excited about it, and that's why lyrically I say, hey, I've raised my kids, and it's my time to shine now.
There you go. And you wrote this song, is that right?
Yes, I did. I co-wrote it with a gentleman named Eddie Lott. He plays guitar for Clarence Carter.
Oh, okay.
And another great Southern Soul artist wrote 2 songs. He's gone on now, too, Mr. Mel Waiters.
Oh,
he
yes.
also has 2 songs on my album that he wrote and produced for me. And actually, one of them, we're doing a duet together.
Wow. I can't wait to hear the whole album now. I've got to go listen to it. I didn't know the Mel Waiters part. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Shirley, is there a website or Facebook page where folks can go and find out more about Shirley Jones, tour dates and music and that sort of thing?
Yes. My website is shirleyjonesgirl.com. They can also pick up CDs from that website. Drop me an email. And then on Facebook, I am Shirley Jones Girl. I have both a fan page as well as my other page. And my Twitter feed is Jones Girl Shirley without the Y.
And we'll put those on our website as well, DarinAnita.com, so you can just go there and click and get right to them, folks. Well, Shirley, let's give them the new song. Here it is.
My Time to Shine.
Darin and Anita, a music evolution.